I remember when I got my first car when I was a junior in high school, and it was a '68 Camaro, small block, and of course I couldn't leave it stock. I had to improve it by my standards, so we put tires and wheels and headers and cam and carburetors, and that was where I spent the better part of my youth, associating around the neighborhood with all the other kids that had cars and hot rods, and they've always been in my blood, and even to this day I still love cars, and cars that go fast, and cars that are loud, and cars that put a smile on people's face. So as I got older, a little more sophisticated, I'd like to think, I evolved into the BMW, and my first purchase was the 1997 840 with the V8 in it, and I loved that car. It was beautiful. And then the CSIs became known to me, and I saw one at one of the local gatherings and casually mentioned to the owner. I said, hey, if you're ever interested in selling that, please give me a call. And lo and behold, within a month I got a phone call, and probably within 2 weeks the car was sitting in my garage. So that was 18 years ago, and 18 fast years. I've treasured this car, I've pampered this car, I've loved this car, and every time I get in it, just to back it out of the garage, it puts a smile on my face, and I marvel in the engineering that BMW put into something that, especially in the 90s, the technology, the computers, the onboard systems, complicated albeit, but it's just a fabulous experience. I love this car. So that is, I think, now time to let somebody else enjoy this. I've had my fun time with it and cherished it, but I think it's time to pass it on to another custodian that will take care of it and hopefully treasure it and pamper it to the degree that I did. It's a bittersweet deal going through this, but life moves on and we have to accept that. So thank you. As part of my responsibility of being a custodian for a fine car like this, it was paramount for me to maintain it in a manner that I felt befitting to the car. Every little thing that came up I took care of immediately. The few improvements that I put to it I felt were not necessary, but I felt they enhanced the car a little bit more. I tried to keep it as true to itself. I've done the UCC short shifter. I've done the strong strut cross brace across the two front shock towers. I have put in HID headlights. What else? I went through the banjo bolt issue that was well known with the V12s, and have had that, and it was in fact on mine, they were backing out, so we had that all security strapped and tied, so those are all fixed now. What else? I've had the struts and arms replaced, the shocks replaced, headliner replaced, package tray, pillars, sunroof reworked. Most recently I had all four wheels refurbished completely when I had new tires put on. New CD, a used CD43 CD player in the cab rather than the CD disc changer in the trunk, which is still there, but the single disc CD43 radio is up front and sounds beautiful. Everything else, I put a illuminated shift knob on it that lights up when you turn on the headlights. Just other than that, it's just routine maintenance, making sure I kept everything in tip-top working order. That's what I took, just my diligence with the car. So, as I say, it pains me to part with the car. Life moves on, and retirement years are approaching quickly, and it's just something, as a retiree, I don't need to maintain have expenditures taken care of and insuring and so forth. So I will pass that on to somebody else. And in those 18 years, as I say, it's brought me great joy. The trips together with my wife up to the wine country and meeting with other 8 Series groups up there in the wine country every year was something we always looked forward to. And driving through the back roads of Napa this car was made for. It was just beautiful, and I hate to see it go, but it's time to move on. So the Russian River Wine Barrel Tasting events, yearly events, still going on up in the wine country of Napa and so forth. It was a brainchild of the great Steve Cohen that started the 8 Series gatherings up there, and in the early years there were as many as 40, 50 8 Series all gathering up there, and Steve ran that event for, I think it was 8 years consecutively, organizing, orchestrating with the wineries for the mass of our cars showing up and inundating these wineries, but they all received us welcomingly. And Steve finally moved on and said, you know, he was tired and wasn't going to take over and do it any longer. So myself and a good friend, Pete Svensgaard, and I took over the task of organizing the wine barrel tasting events. And I think we ran it for 6 or 7 years in a row. And a lot of our compatriots came up, and we all went through the same gatherings and wineries and good times and dinners and drinking wine, and it was good times. Unfortunately, our dear friend Steve that started it all has passed, and it was a sad day, but we owe it all to him that he was the one that started it and laid the foundation for a great event. In conjunction with the wine tasting trips, I met Alex Cardio for the first time, and he came up and was part of the gathering of 8s, and we had a great time. We met, we talked, and he commented on the other gentleman I referred to, Pete Svensgaard. He commented on his red CSI, Hellrot Red CSI, and how much he loved it and if it was ever going to be for sale. So when Pete finally decided to part with his CSI, I reminded him that, you know, Alex would probably be interested. So I reached out to Alex and told him, and Alex reached out to Pete, and he acquired his first CSI number 27, if I remember correctly, and he held on to that and finally sold that as well. But that is how Alex and I go back. I would have to think it's probably 12, 15 years that we've known each other, and we're, you know, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, he's down in Los Angeles. We don't see each other much, but we stay in touch, and I was pleasantly surprised or pleasantly happy that he would be willing to take over the representation of my CSI for sale. He's established a reputation that is unparalleled, and he is well respected within the community, so I felt there was nobody better than Alex to present my car and make the best of it. So he's been thus far doing a fantastic job, and I reach out to him and say thank you, friend.